Hello and welcome to the second annual Cluny Awards. My name actually is Venis Damalo, and since I know none of you watched this video last year, I will explain the rules. I'm just going to put my top 10 favorite movies out and make up categories for them. Super easy. If I feel like it at the end, I'll figure out what my favorite TV and anime is, but I'm not looking forward to that because I'm not good at that. I'm better with movies because I practice with movies. So, this is based off of this list, which I redid as this list, and it will be part of a much bigger tome documenting every movie I've seen since, well, 2017. So without further ado, let's begin the Clooney's. Best sports movie, I, Tonya. I particularly like this movie because at the end of it, I'm still not entirely sure if she was as innocent as she claims, because she's got that "it's not my fault" mentality, and I really like the ambiguity of that movie. Number 9, Best Mystery, Murder on the Orient Express. I was surprised to see that this is at 58% on Rotten Tomatoes because I thought it was actually pretty good, but I think people are comparing it to the original 1974 one, which I did not see. But I have seen this one twice because it took my mom to see it for her birthday, and I don't know, she liked it, but she's an idiot. She liked King Arthur. Number 8, Best Romance, The Shape of Water. It is very difficult for me to get into a romance, but for some reason, if they don't use their mouths to say stupid things, it's a lot easier. Like, they didn't have that much togetherness, and honestly, I think the first time they had sex, she raped him. He did not look like he knew what was going on. By the end of it, obviously, he was into it. But for not actually being the prime focus of that movie, it focused a lot more on Michael Shannon. I totally bought it. I was fine with them being in love. And I'll usually be the first one to argue against it. Number 7, Best Non-Marvel Comic Book Movie. Logan. Logan, as I said in my video for it, was a fantastic movie, and it's even better in black and white to the point where I wish I would have seen it in black and white the first time. It's one of very few movies these days that actually needs the black and white for its full effect. Number 6 is Funniest Movie About Rape and Murder, and this was up between Wind River and Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Montana. It doesn't matter. But Wind River disqualified itself because the coroner couldn't rule that as a homicide, so it's not technically a rape and murder. So, Three Billboards takes the win. Number 5, Best Historical Biopic, Darkest Hour. Darkest Hour is basically the more political side of Dunkirk, but I like this one more for 2 main reasons. 1, Gary Oldman's fantastic. 2, it didn't have Christopher Nolan trying to be tricky with time moving around. You know, like I get it. I like Memento, but I don't really like having 3 separate movies going on at slightly different intervals in chronological order. You know what I mean? I've seen it twice now, and I still don't really get where everything lines up. Number 4, Best Actual Comic Movie, Thor Ragnarok. I've had more fun at Thor Ragnarok than I have at any other comic book movie since Civil War. And I've had to take some thought as to which comic book movies I'm going to actually go see in theaters, because I think I'm sending DC the wrong message by continuing to pay for their movies. But I do see all of them, so trust me, this one's the best. This one's the funniest. This one is the one that I'm most likely to watch more often, over and over again. Number 3, Best Netflix Movie of all time so far, Okja. Now, it makes me very sad that I don't have this on DVD, that I can't get it on DVD because of how Netflix's weirdo philosophy is. But I could not stop crying at the end of this movie. Like, she got her super pig home, and I was still crying. I had to start texting my friend to give my mind something else to do and hopefully dry my face up. Sometimes it just goes off like a faucet. Which leads me into my second one, Best Comedy, The Big Sick. For being Best Comedy, I cried easily 4 distinct times throughout the movie, and it would have been 5, but that seemed excessive, so I kept myself in line. But I love that movie. I like Kumail Nanjiani. I've liked him for a long time, and I'm glad that I now have a movie that I can show people and be like, this is who I'm talking about. Whenever I'm talking about the janitor or custodian from Community. So that leads up to my number one pick for best movie of the year, and the Cluny Award goes to Brigsby Bear. A lot of you may not have heard of this movie. It stars Kyle Mooney, and Kyle Mooney and Beck Bennett are the best thing SNL has going for them right now. And this movie really made a lot of sense to me because it's about being a nerd in a society or surrounded by people who don't get what you're into. As he found with some of his friends, you can show your thing to people and they might get interested in it, but you're going to get a lot of pushback from people who don't want to try it. And I really like that movie. I want to watch it a few more times, like every day. So that concludes the cinematic side of the awards. Now, as for best of TV, I have to go by the same rules I did last year, which is the best new TV. So I think that would have to be The Inhumans. No, I'm kidding, because you know I made a video about how much I hate The Inhumans. No. This one is a toss-up between Star Trek Discovery and The Runaways. Because I really like The Runaways, and Star Trek has problems here and there, but it's giving me the most to think about outside, so I'm not real sure. I'm going to go ahead and just give it to Star Trek Discovery, and just chalk that up to the fact that I didn't think about this very hard. I don't do TV that well. I just know I'm going to kick myself as soon as I'm done making this video, because I'm going to remember something that came out, like Genius. Like, Genius was a good show with Albert Einstein, Johnny Flynn. But I don't know. Star Trek has been making me think a lot. This is the first time that there's been a Star Trek on in my lifetime that I've been aware of. Because growing up, I thought Next Generation, Voyager, and Deep Space Nine were all in the 80s and, like, over by the time I was, 10. But they were there. I could have watched them. Didn't know. Didn't even know about Enterprise. And then finally, against my better judgment, the best anime of the year, it comes down to two. It's in between Little Witch Academia and Kobayashi Sanshi no Maid Dragon. Little Witch has a lot going for it because it's the first one that I watched with my friend week by week. He's never really been all that into anime, but he's been getting into it this year. So that one has a bit of a sentimental value to me, but I loved watching Kobayashi every week. I've been waiting to get to a point where I can show him Kobayashi and love it together, but I'm just going to give it to Little Witch. I think that's the more logical choice. I did disqualify a few things like Shoujo Shumatsu of Yoko because I just watched that last season, and I'm afraid that if I just give it to something that was just on, it's like a bias based on my memory. So I don't like that. So Little Witch Academia kept me busy for 6 months. I bought my friend a keychain from it. So yeah, that was the best anime this year, I think. Sakura Quest was also good. I could go on, but I don't want to because that's not what this channel's for. So, since the odds of anyone watching this video are slim to none, I'm just going to end it now. I don't have to go on for 3 hours. I could. I have enough film for 5 hours, but I'm not going to do that to you. Alright.